Alright, let's talk about lines and triangles. So if you have a triangle and you know two of the angle measures, you can find that third angle measure because every triangle has to add up to 180 degrees. And if you forgot the formula, you'll get it. You've had it previously, but you'll get it before. It's 180 times n minus 2, where n is the number of angles or sides. So if you did that, it would be 3 minus 2, which is 1. 1 times 180 is 180. So that's just a reminder of how you can find the interior angle measure of any polygon. Alright, so we know we have 40 plus 32, and let's call this missing angle x, plus x has to equal 180. So we add that up, we get 72 plus x equals 180. Obviously this is not drawn to scale, but we're going to subtract and get 108. So my triangle isn't drawn correctly there, but we just need to use the numbers to get the angle measure. Now, if I extend this bottom line here, where x is, and we'll call this exterior angle y. Well, y has to be whatever the other two angles there are not. Or are, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Because this forms a straight line. Well, it has to add up to 180. Well, if x is 108, y has to be what the other two angles added up to. So y would have to equal 72 degrees. And like I said, this is obviously not drawn correctly. It really should be drawn more like this. That would be more drawn correctly. But the point of that is just to make sure you're using the numbers and not looking at the picture and just trying to say, oh, that's about, 50 degrees. You need to use the numbers and prove it whatever the numbers tell you. Alright, so this picture is one big triangle, but it's got a line cutting down the middle, so it's really turning this into two different triangles. And we need to find the measure of each of those angles. So we're going to find A, B, and C. So B is probably the easiest one to find because you see this makes a line down there. A line has to add up to 180, so we just take the 180 and subtract the 80 to give us 100 degrees. So B equals 100 degrees. To get the other ones, we've got to do a little bit more math. So if we do A, that'd be 42 plus 80 plus A equals 180. Add those up, I get 122 plus A equals 180. And I'm going to subtract that. So that's going to be 58 for A. And then I'm going to do the same thing for C. Since we know B is 100, we're going to do 100 plus 18 plus C equals 180. So that'd be 118 plus C equals 180. So C would equal 162 degrees. Oh, not 162. 62 degrees. Whoa, subtract that wrong in my head. So we found the measure of A, B, and C for those two triangles. Alright, so let's say we have something like the Star of David. We can use what we know about triangles and lines to figure out any of the angle measures within this. So we want to find x in this case. Well, first we're going to use that 115. And notice it makes a line right there. So that line has to add up to 180. So to get this one, we'll call it y. We just take 180 and subtract the 115 to get, 65? For y. Well, we know y plus 32 plus x has to equal 180. So we can substitute in 65 degrees for y, plus the 32 we already know, plus x, and that has to add up to 180. So now we're going to add the 65 and the 32, that would be 97 plus x equals 180. Subtract that, and x would equal 83 degrees. If we needed to find an additional angle to this, let's say we had Z here, use the other, go back to our original property there, X and Z make a line, so they have to add up to 180. So if X is 83, that means that Z has to be that 97. So that's using the properties of lines and triangles to find any missing angle measure.